And it's important to tell all of the stories. The old saying that the winners write history. If you get into the historical record where you can't be ignored, then you are a winner.
For years, their stories were silenced and disparaged. Now, LGBTQ heroes are being celebrated for the distance that they bridged. Galen Ettlin shares the local project helping rewrite history with truth.
There are not many images of what happened on June 28, 1969. Police raided a business in New York, all because the people inside were different. The Stonewall Uprising boiled over into the first LGBTQ pride protests.
We were criminals by definition.
Robin Will is president of the Gay and Lesbian Archives of the Pacific Northwest, or GLAPN. The group works to make sure LGBTQ history, like Stonewall, is preserved locally.
You look at the record, you will get the impression that no LGBTQ person ever did one damn thing that was worth noticing or writing down. We are, in fact, a persecuted minority.
Back then, you could get kicked out of a restaurant if the restaurant owner thought you were gay.
Susie Mary Shepard is part of that history. She made headlines when she came out in the 70s, her parents starting an LGBTQ family advocacy group.
We were trying to lobby the legislature to pass affirmative gay civil rights.
She has helped keep this history alive, with GLAPN putting out a list of 30 nominated queer heroes every June. In 2021, that list is on its 10th year.
We were really writing history, wasn't really getting covered anywhere else. People in the community who might not have ever been mentioned to finally be seen, to be recognized, to be acknowledged as a person, as a person of value.
The list honors people from across the Pacific Northwest. Some have passed on, others carry on the movement today.
It completely caught me off guard.
Jamar Ruff was named a queer hero in 2020. He works in rural Coos County, helping people with HIV and addiction and LGBTQ youth.
Why do you fight for who we are?
Because we have to. It's still hard. It's still hard for folks that are coming out. It's still hard for folks who want to just be themselves.
How does it feel to know that people who come after you will look up to the work that you've done?
Well, I was not thinking of the impact. So many people came before us so that way we can sit and do the things that we get to do today.
People had to hide who they were.
That's Kristen Knapp, a musician whose connections helped her advocacy. She started fighting for Oregon LGBTQ rights in the 70s and was named a queer hero in 2013. One of the biggest fights came in 1992 and 2000 with Measure 9.
We had all been pretty marginalized and beaten down during that campaign.
Well, it's winnable, obviously.
The ballot measure, sponsored by Lon Mabon, would have banned schools from mentioning homosexuality, lumping it in with pedophilia and other, quote, abnormal and perverse behaviors. Susie Mary Shepard knew she could lose her job as a teacher for being herself.
An absolutely horrific experience.
But advocates poured more than $1 million into a campaign to defeat Measure 9.
It does feel good, like the work that we did made a difference.
And after decades of advocacy, Washington and Oregon eventually passed laws in the 2000s to better protect LGBTQ people from discrimination. Some queer heroes are not around to see the progress.
How does it feel to look back now and see where we are today, having been one of those trailblazers?
Every time I get teared up. Every time I walk by a house or a business and I see a pride flag hanging, I look up to heaven where Jerry and Larry are now, and I say, hey, Jerry and Larry, do you see this one? It's a very important symbol of where we've come.
Other local queer heroes are memorialized for the first time this year on a TriMet Pride bus.
I really never thought I would see this happen.
A mark of acceptance, but also of the road forward.
So much more work to be done.
As other states enact anti-LGBTQ laws, WSU queer historian Peter Bogue says it's a reminder.
A lot has changed, and unfortunately, some things haven't.
And that history,
We're birthed from resilience.
is our guide
We're birthed from overcoming.
to live our true colors. Galen Ettlin, KGW News.
Beautiful story. Thank you so much, Galen.